Well, it's Monday. Thanks for tuning in. We had a bit of a vacation. Hope you had a decent weekend. We had a lot of news breakout on there. We have a lot to get to this week because we're trying to put together a lot because a lot did happen over the weekend. But before we start, remember, subscribe, like, support, share. Thank you. Thank you very much for subscribing to the channel, liking our videos. Thank you for commenting on there, sharing. And those of you who have monetary supported this channel, thank you very much. If you're able to, please give us a donation out there. You can go on Streamlabs, Teespring, or BitChute. You can send a donation via those ways. The links are below in the description. Oops, excuse me. And you could do that there because there's a lot going on. I mean, you're seeing a lot people being demonetized or the channels shut down. You get Michael Jackson fan channels that are being demonetized. You got others that are being demonetized because they're showing classic World War II footage and putting it toward music, which now looks like YouTube finds that to be hate speech, which I don't know how that is. But we'll be discussing some of this stuff this week about a lot of the demonetization and some channels that have been shut down. But we're going to be discussing that in another episode. But once again, thank you for those of you who help support this channel, because you, the viewer, are the ones we make this show for week in, week out. Now, to get to the first things today, one thing, when you're doing this and you're reporting things, mistakes can be made. And that's always a situation on there. It's always good to mention when you make a mistake, you want to tell people that you made a mistake. Now, last week we had an episode. We discussed an article that was coming out of Bonding into Comics and that other people have reported on, and it was concerning a writer for Marvel, Alyssa Wong, who just started working at Marvel. Basically, there were some tweets out, and that she was purging her tweet. And there was one particular tweet that basically insulted Stan Lee. We had gotten a copy of it. But basically, the people we talked with that gave us that, they were confirming that that was legitimate and stuff like that. We went back because we spoke to other people, and they had their doubts on it. So we pulled the video on that evening. And basically, and we also pulled it from BitChute as well. We had just uploaded to the BitChute. We had pulled it immediately till we found out what was the situation. And what we found out was that basically we cannot confirm or deny the validity of the tweet itself. It could have or might not, but we cannot 100% it. So the video is been permanently pulled until we get more information. We do apologize for this. Like I said, these things happen on there. We do not deny the whole subject of the matter, that basically Alyssa Wong is a person who basically hates certain people in the Marvel comic industry. She has expressed her great dissatisfaction and opinions on her Twitter page, which now has been, purged of over 45,000 tweets. Plenty of the tweets insulting the head writer C.B. Cebulski, calling him a racist. And my comments saying that she doesn't belong in Marvel Comics is right spot on, because basically, she basically is insulting people of color, specifically white people. And you say, well, white people are not people of color. Yeah, we're all different creeds and colors. We're all mixed in one way or another. if you call to respect one, you got to respect all. Always the situation on there, and that's what the problem is. And this is why one of the reasons Marvel Comics is declining, because she's not the only one, and we mentioned that on Friday. She's not the only one that has done something of this nature, and there are others, and their tweets and their comments are out there in the archives for you to see, and basically they're out there. And when you have people like this that are writing for such a great company, or used to be such a great company, and it's faltering out, and the whole industry is starting to die out. When manga starts to overtake the comic book industry, because Japan, they don't really bend the knee on this stuff. They write a story, and there are plenty of people out there that are trying to stop them. I mean, Japan is a country of many, many different problems, whether it's in the industry or their emotions and stuff like that. But you see stories that come out from Japan that are very well made, very well written. I think I said, what is it? The top manga is My Hero Academia. I'm just starting on that now, finally. And it happens to be a good story. And there are many other stories that have been from mangas, Akira and many others that have been out there, One Piece, and Dragon Ball. They've always been in manga, and they've always been good stories, and they buy. I mean, here in New York, most comic book stores here carry manga, but we do have a gigantic manga store. I think it's on was it on Broadway? I reported it. It's a really, really nice store, very large, and it carries a lot. But we wanted to apologize for that, and like I said, we retracted the video. We pulled it out. Unless more proof comes out, that video will not pop on it. If that we find out that the tweet is legitimate, we will return the video back to YouTube and BitChute. And for those of you who watched it, okay, thank you very much for watching it. And once again, we do apologize for that. So another update we have to tell you. It's not a retraction. This one is an update. And it has to deal with another story we dealt with, is ASAP Rocky. If you haven't heard, somewhere over the weekend, ASAP Rocky got released out of the Swedish prison and is safe back in the good U.S. of A. Yes, that's right. Insert USA right now. It's great that he's back. The case is still ongoing overseas. The verdict, I think we won't hear a verdict until August on there. I don't think ASAP's going to go back to Sweden at all, because basically the way he was treated and all that. I mean, like I said, you got to be careful when you're overseas. The laws are different. We're Americans. We go through what is in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and everything like that. But see, overseas, they treat it differently. You're treated guilty until proven innocent, where here it's innocent until proven guilty. And we do have other rules. They kept him in jail without charging him at the time. We don't do that here. That is a violation of the Constitution in this country. They kept him, and they kept him for weeks. Now, supposedly, I think, what is it, August 14th? I guess the outcome is going to be, the verdict will be given then. But I'm like, I don't expect him to go back. I know there's been intervention from the U.S. government, the President of the United States, President Trump, many other people in Hollywood, both sides of the caucus, both Democratic and Republican. First time I'm hearing that together. That because this is an American citizen. It doesn't matter what color. People say they're trying to start. Oh, they're trying to get the black. He's an American citizen. And yeah, okay, he's a celebrity and stuff like that. But understand, he was railroaded in there. He was being attacked by somebody, of course, and he tried to move away from it. But this person kept antagonizing. And the person who did this has a record of this. How did they dismiss him from this case it's still a big question, because basically, you have a situation where a guy who is prone to violence attacking someone from, a tourist. Technically, you put it, he's a tourist. He's a guest of the country because he's there to perform. And he's being attacked by this guy. Of course, what's going to happen is, it's going to get to a breaking point where he's going to fight back. And, obviously they went a little, excuse me, the bodyguards went a little bit too far. Okay, that's, you can, one thing about, if you're trying to defend yourself, sometimes you can get a bit aggressive and you got to know when to stop. But sometimes you're like, you get into that situation. And then you're hearing like all these stories. Oh, he had a bottle, he smashed a bottle, and all that's been untrue. He had a bottle, but he didn't use it as a weapon. ASAP didn't use it as a weapon. Also, his security team that was also detained has been released also and did return with him to L.A. when they flew back on there. So it's good to hear a good outcome to a story that we've been covering on there. But like I said, we have to see what is the final adjudication of this case, which we will continue to monitor as we go along. So basically, it's not over yet for Rocky. Hopefully things will go in his direction, and basically Sweden will go in and finally say, hey, listen, let's just, push away the situation, because, in a way, they have the video footage. But like I said, when you go to countries like Sweden and Italy, and so the laws are not the same, and they don't treat evidence as the same. I mean, you get guys like Tommy Robinson, who works in the media, gets arrested for covering a case about guys who are using young girls, as sex slaves, groomers, and he gets put in prison for that. And that's ridiculous. You can't report on a situation which, when you go to the courts their names are prominently put up on the board, but they don't want this information to come out. But I digress. So comment below. Tell me, you happy Aesop's back in the United States? Tell me how you feel in the comments below. Keep the conversation going. Thank you, for those who have commented. I think we're going to be doing a bit of a show soon with some of the best comments I have there, and to answer some of this stuff directly, because most of the time I'm not answering a lot of the comments. Someone else is, and mostly it's, thanking them for watching the show and commenting. Sometimes I'll interject something in there, but most of the time, because our scheduling and stuff like that, and we're on so many different platforms, and like I said, we don't have a big staff. It's hard to answer everybody at one time. We try to answer everyone the best we can, especially here on YouTube on there, because we're on here most of the time on YouTube. Over at BitChute, we get, we're just starting to get some comments on there. Gab and Minds.com, which you can also comment there as well. We do talk a bit. Gab, we don't get too many comments on there. Minds, we get more of a comment sense or a thumbs up a lot of the times there. So also, if you're subscribed, thank you for subscribing there too. That helps boost it up on them, because a lot of the monetary that we do get are from the outside social media sites, Gab, Minds, so on and so on. They're the ones who are there. They have been there for us. We thank them as well for being out there and being a source to help put out the message that we're trying to put out, and the entertainment that we put out in some of our shows on there. Whereas the situation with YouTube, where basically we're just not out there as much. So thank you for tuning in. We got one more tonight. It's a doozy on there, and this affects YouTubers, especially those who report in the gaming parts of YouTube. So stick around. We'll be right back. Subscribe, like, support, share.